Hey, what's up? This is Just Plain Nonsense.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Rob. And we have 5 people in here today. We have got Hey Girl. You guys know her. I'm gonna find out what your name is today.
Pablo.
Shut up. That's my phone talking to me. Every time... Okay, we'll get to you in a second. Every time I say Hey Girl, my phone thinks I say Hey Google. Oh. Yeah, there it is. Every single time. So I was editing an episode and I had to mute every time I said your name because my phone would just keep popping up. Okay. And then we've got Podgey over here. You guys remember her from the last episode. And Pablo, I guess he's Arturo's twin brother. What was his name? What's your twin brother's name? Antonio?
Oh, Antonio.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, duh.
Okay, so we are going to talk about... We kind of have some topics today. We're going to talk about this, like being bullied, or being a bully, as I hear that you were.
That was
That was Antonio.
That was your brother. Okay, I got you.
This one was the one that was bullied.
Okay, so Antonio bullied Pedro.
Pablo.
I was going to try to vote for you. No, it's real. It's hard. It's hard when they all look the same. Okay, so we're going to talk about bullies, terrible bosses.
That was bullying.
Yeah. Exhibit A.
That was an example of bullying. Yeah,
bullied a race.
Just go and now I'm going to get shot. Okay, so we're going to talk about bullies. We're going to talk about bad bosses, and then just some random banter that we're going to have a little bit later. So, who has a good bullying story? Anybody have a story about like a time they were bullied, or you want to start talking about it? Who's going to take this off besides me?
I don't think it's ever a good time.
If
you're being bullied.
Yeah, no, I got bullied like pretty much my whole entire life. And it was I want to say I learned a lot from it, but I didn't, because I got picked on and it sucked, and I need somebody else to like bring this up, because I'm like getting ready to take it down.
I think it kind of depends on how you respond to the bully, because some people just don't do anything, and then some people hit the bully back.
Yeah, I've heard that whenever you do actually hit the bully back, then you guys become friends.
Did I ever discuss it on an episode?
Yeah.
My David and Goliath story.
The one where
I sucker punched him.
And you got hit in the kidney?
No, that's a different story. You're mixing two stories together.
Oh, because that was the story I was thinking of.
No,
but that wasn't a bully.
No,
really.
you're talking about my old friend Rob, that we got in a fight over a girl, and he won like badly, and ruptured my kidney. That was a fight, but then we became friends afterwards.
Right. So who's this David and Goliath one? I don't know if you've told that one.
I thought I did. It's the guy that used to do the DDT, the wrestling move on me, and used to bully me in grade school. He was, he failed, they held him back 3 grades. So he was like an 8th grade, 6th grader, 5th grader.
I don't remember this.
I never told this story?
I don't think so.
Oh, well, maybe I should tell it.
Continue on.
Leave
It's
a
a good
comment
story.
below if Michael's told this story before.
It's a good story.
So this is my David and Goliath story.
Oh my gosh. Back away from that mic.
So this is my David and Goliath story.
Go ahead.
All right, so there I was, little bitty kid, didn't hit my growth spurt yet, and there's this kid who will remain unnamed, so for the sake of the story, he's Goliath. He's held back several grades. He was a lot tougher than he was smart, that's for sure.
As most bullies are.
Yeah. And so he used to show up, lunchtime to see me, and then he noticed that I'd look over in fear, and then he'd be like, oh yeah, then I could be empowered. He would go over and he would bully me, he would DDT me, which is an old wrestling move back in the day where they put you in a headlock and then drop on the ground and then yell, DDT, So then one day, my old man gave me some advice. He's like, you got to stand up to your bullies.
And then you DDT'd him back.
Well, no, one time I hit him, but my hands were just so soft against his hard body. Freaking didn't do anything, so then it DDT'd me again. So time went on, and this little David, on the last day of school, saw an opportunity. The gates of heaven opened up and a miracle happened. It gave me a chance to restore my integrity.
Is this when
he was in the bathroom?
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
You did tell this story.
Yeah, okay. So he was at the urinal, and I was like, here's my chance. And I won't see him because I heard he passed this time. So he was going on to junior high next year, middle school. So I ran up to him, and even though it wasn't technically a DDT, it just felt right. I ran up and yelled, DDT! Punched him right in the back of the head when he was peeing, and he got pee all over himself and hit his face off the cinder concrete wall. And then before he could regain his bearings, I ran out.
Oh my god.
And that's how I stood up to my bully.
And he never bullied you again.
No, it didn't.
Because he went on to the next grade.
Well, I saw him a few years later, and
then what happened?
he actually, I felt like his family life was so rough, and I guess the fact that I went and talked to him afterwards, he just didn't mess with me again, because he knew that he'd have to pee again probably eventually. But I don't know, like we kind of just, we weren't friends, you know, but like we got along, and plus I had my growth spurt, so I grew like 6 inches.
Oh, he would have messed
Right.
with you.
Yeah, so I wasn't a little chunky Mikey boy over there. I was Michael.
Oh, so whenever you grew up, your name changed from Mikey to Michael.
Well, some of my family still calls me Mikey. Drives me nuts.
I call you Mikey every once in a while.
Yeah,
Just
'cause,
because.
Mikey's the kid who hasn't hit puberty yet that will eat anything.
Right.
Michael's like, I'm here to do stuff. You know.
Man, I've got some stories about like real bad bullying. Like when I would okay, so this is gonna be like Rob brings the podcast down. When I was 9 years old, my mom went in the hospital. I told this story a little while ago, but or a couple episodes ago. But my dad was a single dad, so he never was like, you need to go take a shower, you need to go wash your clothes, you need to do this kind of stuff. So I would go to school with like clothes that were like not the cleanest probably. And I would sit in the back of the bus, and there were kids that were always like, you smell so bad, blah, blah, blah. So I was riding in the back of the bus, and I was always sleepy. So I'm sitting in the back of the bus, I got my head like against the window, and they're looking at me, and they like hold up these bottles of cologne. And I fall asleep, and I wake up a little bit later to the smell of cologne. They had poured both bottles on me. The whole entire thing's on me.
It's jacked up.
Yeah, that's so mean.
So there's that. I mean, I've told the story about me getting like, I would stand up off the bus, and everybody had paper, and they would like crumpled it up and threw it at me when I hit the middle of the bus. Every single person on the bus.
So I guess my question is like, when you were younger, did you not like confrontation then? Or because when I was younger, I also got bullied, but there was like a limit where I was like, it made me want to like literally punch people.
I guess that, I don't know if it wasn't that I didn't like confrontation, or if I was just like too easygoing. That like,
Yeah.
I'm not a fighter. Like I don't like causing harm to people. I don't like being violent or aggressive. I'm not competitive at all. Like I don't play competitive games. If you're like, I'm gonna beat you, I'm like, I don't care. So I don't have that. I don't have that in me to fight for. I don't know what the deal is or why, but there were a couple times where I got angry and I got back at them. Like one kid, just for those of you guys who are listening, Michael just whipped out a bunch of like tiny little Play-Doh, and he's handing it around to all the other podcasters on it.
We're still listening.
No, I'm just talking to the people who are listening, like the listeners.
No, we're still listening.
Right. Okay, I got you. So, I lost my train of thought because what was I talking about?
Cologne,
Non-confrontational.
and you're not a fighder. Someone wants to challenge you to a game. You're like, I don't care.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, with me fighting back a little bit.
Yeah.
So there was one kid who, he was like a little scrawny, little nerdy kid, and I go to the bathroom, and this kid's like messing with me, and then as I try to leave the bathroom, he's like pushing on me and like hits me with his lunchbox and stuff, and I'm like, what is this kid doing? So I end up walking up the stairs, and he keeps hitting me over and over and over again. So I just grab him and I throw him on the ground.
Ooh.
And the teacher came out and stopped it, and then luckily he got in trouble, and I didn't because I was defending myself.
Yeah.
But man, I got so many stories that I can tell you guys about bullying.
It's pretty messed up that you have that many stories.
Yeah.
Kids are mean, man.
It's my whole life, man. Being the fat, smelly kid in school, it's like you're just a target, straight up target.
Kind of leads back to the parents though. Like, it's like, what are you teaching your kids like in everyday situations? Like, are you just kind of like,
Yeah,
Not-
we're their parents. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're talking about the bullies, like
Yeah,
Yeah.
the bullies and the parents.
I don't. I think, man, it's there's so many different things that could lead to people who are bullying.
Yeah, it could be like your violent parents at home, or they don't get attention, or because especially when you're little kids, if you don't know how to communicate properly yet,
Yeah,
you'll
act out.
project like how you feel because you don't know how to talk it out. Because maybe at home your parents don't communicate with you, didn't teach you with your siblings.
Yeah.
Maybe you were bullied, and so like by an older sibling or by somebody else, and so you get older a few years later. Now that's your sense of power because you don't have the power at home or in your
Right.
with your peers.
But what is the best way, as a parent, what is the best way to handle that? Because there are some parents that are like, my kid's getting bullied, so I'm going to pull them out or put them in a different school or I'm going to do something different. Or is the best way to be like, stand up to them? Because I wonder, like, where are all of the kids that stand up for other kids? Because I get that not everybody is a fighter, but if you are a fighter and you're not standing up for the kids that are getting bullied,
Then you're just.
then like where are those kids? Because some kids have it in them. Like I know I did when I was younger. I was feisty.
I do now, man. I will destroy somebody if there's bullying going on. I'll throw you through a window. I don't care.
Oh yeah.
The little
But
kids are
back
so
then-
fragile though, man. Like you don't.
They don't know better.
Yeah.
Michael did. He got jumped by a bunch of kids
Yeah.
because he
Yeah.
stood up for somebody who was getting bullied.
Yeah, I remember he told that story too.
But
It's weird because like when I was growing up, like always a grade above or somebody who was bigger than me, like because I was pretty small, and pudgy, and they would just decide to like pick on me for some reason. It was the same guy like from like 2nd to 4th grade, and then there was another guy who was like 5th grade to 7th grade, and
That makes me-
there's always somebody.
That makes me wonder, like, what is it about like the bully-buller relationship? I don't know, the person who's getting bullied. Like, why does that person choose this person? Like, because everybody's got a bully. It's not like you're getting bullied by like a different guy every day. It's like there's one person that picks on you. Like, what is the correlation between those two people?
Yeah.
They just want to feel superior, I guess, in some
Right.
sort of way. But
Why?
Yeah.
Why did that person though, that bully, pick this person to bully?
Because they're the first person to submit, probably.
Could be.
it is.
Yeah, I wouldn't
It's a
really do
submission
anything.
thing.
Like in return, like I wasn't the type who
Right.
would fight back or anything. But then as I got older, I realized that I could not physically do anything that could mess with their head.
Oh yeah.
There you
That's
go.
the best way to get back at them, because then they're like, I don't know what's going on right now.
I feel like that's how a lot of girls, when they bully, it's different. It's not like a physical thing, and a lot of times it's not even to their face.
It's
like
mental
a
and
behind,
emotional.
Yeah, it's like
Exactly.
behind their back, like manipulation type of bullying.
Yeah.
Like
It,
I don't know.
I know what you mean. Like I was bullied in elementary school. I was like 2nd or 3rd grade, and my bulliers were actually sisters. Yeah.
Oh, dang.
So they
Tag team bullying.
they were
that's
my
rough.
friends actually. They were
Hey,
my
I'll tap you
friends.
in.
This is they were my friends at first,
Right.
and then
Twins?
yes, they're twins. And so I invited them to my birthday party because they were my friends, and my grandma got me Winnie the Pooh underwear. It was like bright orange, bright yellow. And then literally the next day, they like went and ran to, like when we had recess and lunch, our recess and lunch was like a big we had space to go. Like,
Right.
And every group, like they have their own thing
Their
going
little
on.
clique, right.
Yeah. And so they went to every group and every clique, like the playground, the sand, where the sand area is, and the dodgeball wall. They went to every group running to them and like saying, Audrey has Winnie the Pooh underwear. And literally like each group, and I was like, I just remember like running behind them, and I was like, no I don't. Like I went to each group, and I was like, I don't have it, I don't. And then like I was crying, and then I told
But you
my
were even wearing it, weren't you?
no, I wasn't. And then after that, I didn't want to wear it, obviously. But yeah, I told my mom about it, and she was angry, furious, obviously.
Was she mad at you?
No,
Okay.
at my bullies. And so my mom actually confronted their mom, and their mom was
That's the
like,
way to do
no,
it.
they wouldn't do that.
Oh,
They
Oh my
would not
gosh.
do that.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, one
I
of those
don't.
parents.
And so like it's just like, what do you do then? Like
Yeah, I don't know what you can do from there because
It all comes back to parenting.
Yeah.
Well, because I had an opposite experience of that, like where this little boy was like, he was bullying me and my mom.
hold on, he was bullying you and your mom.
Yes.
Oh, I thought
He
you
was
were getting,
hardcore. No, he wasn't.
Oh my.
I just like
It
picking
got to
out.
the point where mom would pick me up in the back. She's so scared.
I like picking out some of the stuff that you say because then it
Amish
just.
snowman. I like that. Oh, sorry. Anyway, so, we should show off our Play-Doh designs at the end of the
Oh,
episode.
that's awesome. Yeah, we'll get like some shots of them.
So, no, she followed the boy home. I'm in the car with my mom after school. And I was like, that's him. She's like, okay. She starts following. I'm like, no, mom, don't. And like sliding down the seat. And she follows him home with this kid. And then when he goes inside, my mom knocks on the door. And she goes, when the mother answered the door, she's like, your son's been bullying my son, explain to her what happened. And that mom actually handled it well, I guess, because she goes, I won't say his name. I don't think I remember. I think maybe, I don't know. But anyway, she goes, get your butt down here right now. And she like whipped that kid in front of me.
That's awesome.
And that kid never bullied me again. And then afterwards, I was like, Mom. She's like, that's how you handle that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Justice.
awesome.
So it was a mom effort.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool that mom like just so he would feel my humiliation. That boy's mom spanked him right in front of me.
That's awesome.
That's the way to do it as a
Yeah.
parent. Like you have
Yeah.
to approach parents and like
Yeah.
deliver the message.
Yeah, parents working together instead of like no.
Exactly.
Yeah, it makes
Yeah.
me angry when parents like you were saying like they stand up. No, it was you saying that the parents were like, oh no, they didn't do
Yeah,
it.
they
it
would
makes
never
me so
do
mad.
that.
It's like they're blind and
like-
oblivious to their own
Oh,
child.
yeah, obviously.
Sorry, their kids that them in jail like 15 years from that point.
Right. They're like, he can
'Cause they
do
were
it. He
never
can
taught
do no wrong.
consequences.
Yeah,
And then they
your
recall.
kids do
Yeah.
no wrong, right?
It makes me so mad.
Which reminds me, he made an Amish snowman.
What'd you make?
I made a chicken.
Oh, I thought it was a dinosaur.
It's a dino chicken.
I mean,
So I was trying to go, that's a T-Rex. But I was like, but it was supposed to be a chicken.
like the head looks like a
So
dinosaur.
Tyrannosaurus chicken.
Okay.
Like
Way
it?
to display your art.
Yeah.
All right.
so it's
Put
a
it next to the Amish snowman.
call it a T-Rex skin.
T-Rex skin, yeah. I like that.
Oh,
So-
we'll remember the one from, have you guys seen Jurassic World?
Which one?
The first one? With Indominus Rex? Or what's it called?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The white one?
Yeah. There's a white T-Rex.
Well, it looks kind of white.
I mean, I've seen it. Because there's Jurassic World and Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah. I think it's the first one.
Okay.
Where point is, he's white. And it looks like that.
And the white one stands.
This episode is going to be the racism episode.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Wow.
supposed to be like that, but
No,
bullying
I gotcha.
happens. Bullying happens like when you're an adult too. It's just
Oh,
not
yeah.
as.
Yeah.
It's just we handle it differently as adults.
Yeah.
We're just
Yeah.
more equipped to deal with it. Well, some adults actually don't handle it very well, and they cause an even bigger issue. But I think for the majority of mature adults, they are more equipped to handle it as they're older.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
see bullying a lot more with bosses.
yeah, in work environments.
Yeah, like I had
Because that authority gets to him.
I had this little guy, and he'll know who he is if he watches this. But for some reason, whenever the manager's shirt came on, he forgot that he was like 5'2", and he had that high pitched voice. You ever seen that movie where I can't remember the movie, so I'm not gonna reference it, but anyway, this dude had a real high pitched voice. So we were in a factory setting, and he would just go around being like looking at people, being like, "You need to work faster. You really do."
Oh my
God. Try to make a quip.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
You need to calm down right now. Speed up production. You're going slow. And
That was straight up Mickey
Yeah,
Mouse.
that's
Right
what
there.
you better pick it up.
Oh.
We'll kick your face in.
You can do a good one. Do it.
Nope.
Come on.
He did a good one.
Let's bully her into it.
Come on.
Feeling peer pressure.
So, but one day, I don't know if I ever told you the tale of Really Real.
I know about Really Real.
Well, a lot of
I'm
times you hear
pretty
me
sure
say,
you did a
"Oh,
while
Really
ago.
Real." That's actually like an inside thing that I turned into my own like personal slang, but there's this guy that used to work at the same factory. It ties into the boss. And
You're actually good when you sit back. A little
okay,
bit.
so his nickname was Really Real. He was from Chicago, and he'd always like his signature thing was after he'd do something, he'd be like, "Oh, the Really Real," you know.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, and so that's where I got it from because I thought
That's
it was,
funny.
you know, kind of catchy. So anyway, he and I got along real well, you know,
Really, real well.
like really real well. Good. And then
Thank you.
but another thing we had in common, other than me and him would drop some sweet rap beats behind the products.
I was wondering where that was going.
Yeah, I didn't want to say the actual. So anyway, one day we were back there joking around, and that particular manager, almost said his name, came up and goes, "You're not supposed to be standing around. You had your break." You know?
Was he the Wicked Witch of the West or something? Like, what is happening
His
here?
voice keeps changing. You better cut it out.
Oh my goodness.
And he's like, "I'll write you up." And Really Real lost. I guess he was having a day where his thug level was way up here. You know what I mean?
He's having a really real bad
Yeah,
day.
it was a really real bad day. Hey, I like him as catching this. So anyway,
That was so good.
he got in his face, which means he had to squat down a little bit. And he goes, "You ever talk to me like that again, I'm gonna shove you in this thing and then drive you down the belt." And goes, and he goes, "That's a threat." He goes, "You're not gonna make it to the boss if you talk to me like that again," you know, because that. And I guess he called the cops. The manager did, and what I'm talking about, and then got arrested. And I'm like,
So Really Real got
yeah, on his
arrested?
way out, he goes, "Oh, the Really Real," you know, and I was like, "Dang," you know,
That's my bro.
that's my boy. You know?
Hashtag thug life.
He's my peeps.
I was like, but anyway, I don't think he was off probation or whatever, so that might have sucked. But anyway, he was a good dude, you know, just misunderstood.
Oh my god.
Well,
So anyway, go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna ask, like, what qualities, like, what traits make a bad boss? Like a micromanager?
Well, that's what he would do. He'd follow you around like a little yipping chihuahua and just like, speed it up.
Micromanaging, I think, is actually one of the worst ways to get production. Like,
Are you a micromanager?
No.
Oh, okay.
he's a macro.
How do you know that? Just kidding.
I will defend my point after Rob speaks.
Well, I was just gonna say that micromanaging, I think, is the worst way to get production going because people they hate being micromanaged. They hate when you they don't want you to tell them how to do their job because they've been doing it long enough. They know how to do it.
And you know that's the difference between motivation and inspiration. Inspiration is something internal. It's like I want, and you tear down inspiration when you have too much negative motivation. For external, you're like fear or whatever. You know, because you can have good motivation, but it's very short lived. So whenever they're not inspired to want to do it because you're not treating them the right way, it's
right. And what's funny though to continue with my point, most bosses don't even know how to do the job themselves. Like they're trying to tell you how to do a job that they don't know how to do themselves. And I think that's one of the main problems with micromanaging.
Yeah, and I've had good bosses too. But you were going to say something, weren't you?
Oh, well, I mean,
He was going to defend his point that he's not a micromanager.
well, basically, micromanaging, it has to happen sometimes
Yes.
when the right person isn't hired for the right job.
Okay.
So they're performing their job, but the little details add up and it becomes a big issue.
That's fair.
Right. Well, I think we're
So-
talking about the type of micromanaging where they're telling somebody who already knows how to do it
Yeah.
but they don't know how to do it
But he's
themselves.
given the good applications
Yeah.
where there's certain points where you have to hit the micro topics and examine them.
Yeah, and that should be covered in training, I think. And that could be considered training.
Yeah,
The
there's some.
But certain
micromanaging.
things only come out
If they are trained
during,
right.
Right.
like when they're actually doing the job.
Right.
And
Okay,
so-
I got you. Like in the really real setting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's, I mean, back to your old boss, is that he has like more of like a Napoleon complex type of thing.
I think that's exactly it.
So then some people just like love the power, or some people feel like they need to project their power
Right.
in order to compensate for other things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't understand that at all because Michael asked me one time on one of these podcasts. He's like, if you could rule a country, which one would you rule? And I was like, I don't know. I don't want to rule a country. I've never wanted
No,
that
that
kind
wasn't
of,
it. It was
something along those
the
lines.
whole point of that, which I don't think we're going to drop that episode, but like, well, we'll talk about it later.
No, this was a long time ago.
Oh, was it? I thought
yeah,
it was
yeah,
one
no,
of
it was
those
a long
that we
time
dropped.
ago.
But the idea, the premise of it was, what would people do with power? So I'd ask you, what would you do? What would you do with unlimited money? What would you do with authority?
No,
it wasn't
this-
more like if you wanted it.
That's not what I'm talking about at all.
But it was like what? Oh, okay. Maybe I'm missing. Think of
No,
something different. But
yeah,
it's
this
more
is a long time ago.
Because it's good to see what some people are completely different once they get power. So I would. So I want to like see what people would do if they had that power, because some people like.
I don't know. I kind of disagree with that. I think that you're just like that, but on a lower scale. But when you have power, it just magnifies who you actually are.
I think that could be true in some cases, but I think there's certain things that can only be shown with. There's only certain types of power that only be had once you get it, like being in charge of people, right? Or there's certain things that you may never have the chance to, so you overact, and then you become something else because you've actually never experienced anything like it.
Yeah.
So you kind of.
And there are times too when I think you can get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And then you know how people are like when they get overwhelmed and nervous, they talk a lot.
Yeah.
So like some people in that position when they've never had it before, they could probably be a little overbearing because they're like, I need to tell these people what to do. I'm their boss. I have to make sure they know what to do. I got to get this guy going. I got to make sure this is going. So they're all in everybody's business, micromanaging and not really knowing.
Whereas they've never had that before, and now they're like.
So they're inexperienced.
Yeah.
So that could be one part of it.
I've also had a boss that, going on the complete other end of that, I've had a boss that was too laid back. I'm the type of person where like I respond to strong leadership.
Yeah.
Like I like a boss that is on top of things. I like stuff to be orderly. There needs to be some sort of structure. I like a boss that casts vision, direction. I don't like to be micromanaged, but I like to see the big picture of what the goals are. I want a leader.
Yeah.
And I've had a boss where it's like none of that was there. It was literally like, okay, like you got this, okay, like bye.
Yeah.
And there was no follow-up with anything, none of that. Like I think to me that's worse because they're not even engaged.
Yeah. Exactly.
They're fine with the status quo. They're just
Right.
like let it be, and then well, that's fine.
Yeah, and like that type of person doesn't motivate you. Like at least if
They don't have a passion for their job.
yes,
Exactly.
Like, personally, like this is my own personal opinion. If I had a boss that micromanaged, it would at least motivate me to like get out of that like situation. I could promote and get out of that, or I could figure out a way to make it better. But if I had a boss that wasn't even engaged, it's like it's kind of like you don't even see a future like there at all.
Yeah.
Like you're not really motivated. You're just coming in, doing your thing, and leaving. It's just I don't know.
One thing, and I can add to that, is that just like when you have kids, each kid you have to handle differently.
Oh, right.
So I think that a good manager knows what to apply to each person.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I've been a follower, I've been a leader, depending on different things in life, and I've noticed that what works for one, just like with raising kids, will not at all work for the other one.
Yeah.
So I think that if you're a good manager, a good boss, it's relational. Like you develop, you get to know each person, and you know what works for them and what doesn't.
I totally agree.
Yeah, you were just reminding me of like one of those ladies like at church where the preacher's like,
Yes.
and today we're gonna save the people, and you're like, yes,
Yes.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yes.
yes, pastor.
Yes, Pastor Preach.
So that was just cracking me up because every time you're like, yes, that's what I thought of.
Yes. Sorry, I just got into what he was saying.
No, that's
Yeah.
good.
Because I totally agree with it. Like, I strongly believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like trying to keep it going without like that lull,
Oh, well, there's also, okay, here's the thing that came out recently, and I've attended a few of these conferences, but I think leadership conferences are needed for people who are in leadership, like anybody in management, because I think there are so many bad bosses and so many bad managers. And it's not necessarily that they don't like their job, some of them don't, but it's that they lack leadership skills.
Yeah.
It's not really something that's taught. They may know how to do the job. The difference is, do you know how to inspire people? It's a completely different job than what you're actually doing.
Yeah, it's kind of like have you heard of the E-myth? It's like somebody I'll use myself as an example. I'm a graphic designer, right? So I can make logos and I can make animations and I can make designs and stuff. But that doesn't mean that I should start a graphic design business.
Right.
Because you have to know how to run a business.
Yeah.
So I think that's the same thing as where a lot of people will start a business and they know their trade really well. They have no idea how to run a business.
Yeah.
So you've got somebody who, you see this a lot in fast food, where you have somebody who's good at their job, they get promoted to manager, they have no idea how to lead people. And I think that's why a lot of times, especially in fast food, you see high turnover rates and stuff like that. And that takes me to my next point, which would be people, I agree with this, I saw this somewhere, people don't quit jobs, they quit bosses. And it's not all the time, but that's a very good example of it. Because there are times when I've left jobs because I'm like, I can't stand this boss anymore.
Yeah.
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 Definitely.
I think the age of the manager or the boss has a lot to do with it too.
Right.
Because, I mean, my parents, mainly on my mom's side, they were pretty hardcore, and like they put me to work like pretty young, like not work officially like at a job, but at least do very like manual labor at home. And then so that's just what I'm used to. And then when I first started my job, I was just like, let's get it done. Like let's keep on going. So with that being said, the older generation is definitely more like hands-on. Let's take care of this. And I'm not trying to like talk down on anybody because it's definitely my generation, and
right.
Sometimes I'm like that too. But
well, these are your opinions, man. That's like however you feel. Like
but
everybody's got the right to their own opinion.
Like the younger generation is definitely more like less hands-on, more technical. It's like the millennials, what people know as the millennials, and what's Generation Z.
Something one of the letters of the alphabet.
Yeah, right.
It's going to start back over at A eventually.
And then it's just there's like a bunch of ways to manage the older generation that don't work on the younger generation.
Yeah, because some of them they take getting yelled at and like that kind of like strong drive. But if you yell at like one of these younger kids, they're like, man, get out of my face. Like they got an attitude and they're like, I ain't gonna stand for that.
That or they're oversensitive because they have that mom that whenever they were confronted with bullying said, my kid wouldn't do that.
Right.
So people don't really bring down the rod of correction, but also the whole like kindness. They don't usually have parents that are like sticklers, or they're just, my kids can't do no wrong.
Right.
Yeah. You gotta have that balance of knowing when to be hardcore and when to also be sensitive and show.
Exactly.
Right. I'm the kind of guy that's like, if you talk down to me or yell at me, I'm like, we're gonna fight. Like that's disrespectful and I don't appreciate it.
We're gonna make out. You're turning me on. No, I'm saying. I'd
rather be talked down to and like be straight up. I want my manager to be straight up, because then
being straight up is like I get it, but being talked down to where they're like
degrading.
Yeah, it's telling me it's not necessarily telling me I'm stupid, but like insinuating that or something like that, or
being condescending.
Yeah, explaining something to me that I know, but they just want to say it because they like I maybe messed something up or whatever.
Yeah, some people are just really, really bad at communicating, and so like like I had a guy that was like, he tells me all the time like you're a retard, but I don't really think you're smart enough to call me a retard. Like but they don't know how to actually explain where you went wrong and help you out. They're just like they're just like you're a retard.
That is an excellent point. I feel like if you're going to criticize somebody, have something to tell them that they can do better.
Have something intelligent to say than calling someone a retard.
Yeah, it's like I love when people look at my work and then they tell me, like I do graphic design, video production, all that kind of stuff. I love it when people look at it and they're like, all right, this is good, but this can be done better. And I'm like, absolutely. I love that. I love the criticism and the
constructive criticism.
Yeah. And I like to be like, I want my stuff to be better.
Yeah.
And you get that by showing it to different people and seeing what other people's opinions are.
Yeah.
I agree. Got to sandwich comments. Like there's a good,
and then what can you do better, and then good again.
But let's cushion it and let's say something else good.
Right. Yeah, I learned about that from something. I don't remember what it was, and I started doing it, and I was like, man, this feels good.
Yeah.
It works, I think.
Yeah. Well, when you have a tactfulness to it, when you think about what you say, it's going to come out a lot better than just emotionally being like, this makes me angry. Or what do I say? I don't want to have to go through and explain the whole thing, so I'll just say you're retarded.
Right.
Or I don't like it.
And that's and that's why the Bible says be slow to anger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you have a choice. You're getting mad is not a choice. That just happens. It's a chemical reaction. How you handle it is the choice. So it's like if you get mad, you need to take some time and be like, okay, I'm gonna recognize that I'm mad. I'm not gonna say something stupid. So let me organize my thoughts for a minute. Sometimes you gotta walk away. You're just like, I need some time to coordinate what I'm gonna say so that I don't say something bad or that I'm gonna regret.
Yeah. I think it also depends to your method of communication. Like at my job, we do a lot of emails. Like most of my time is spent on a computer. So sometimes when I feedback, because part of my job is feedbacking people or giving them like learning opportunities. And when I'm in person and I'm speaking to someone, I like my tone and everything, it reflects very kind and very gentle, but my verbiage that I use is very direct. And so it turns out to be a really positive experience because the way that I'm communicating it.
It's clear.
But when I do emails, people think I'm a total jerk. Like, I've gotten that so much. They're
You don't
just
have tone in
because
your
I don't
emails.
have I don't fluff it. Like, I don't fluff my verbiage.
It's just direct.
It's very direct. But I'm like, but if you met me in person, I'm not a jerk.
I'm so
just,
sweet.
I'm just a very like an A to B like person. I don't fluff things. I'm not flowery and rainbowy on emails. I'm just like, these are the facts.
I've learned to do that in text, like where I do add the fluff to mine sometimes, where I'm like, all right, how do I say this? I need to be direct, but I need to say it clear. I need to say it clearly, but I also need to convey that I'm not like mad or upset or whatever. So I like run it through my head and I imagine actually saying it out loud of what it would actually sound like.
Yeah, because if you don't already know their mood, something could come off. Like if we're having a conversation that's playful, and I put K, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's like K. But if you don't know the context and I just put K, it's like, oh wow, you're being short with me. Like, man, they must be
So
Yeah.
Key and Peele did this exact sketch where they were writing back and forth text messages and
Oh, you showed me that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's true though. If I can put emojis in emails, I'd be so much of a nicer person.
I put emojis in everything.
Me too. I like.
You can
can't.
fluff it by saying like, I hope this helps, or like,
LOL.
you know, like, thank you,
Yeah.
like, you know, or
I hope this helps.
okay.
They're like, oh, you're saying I need help now?
I just think certain things shouldn't be communicated via like email. So I went to this leadership
breakups?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I went to
my
this
God.
leadership
I did that.
conference through email.
It was through Facebook.
That's worse.
I will. Do you want me to tell you the story, or do you want to
No,
finish?
go ahead, yeah.
Okay, I didn't want to take away from your
No,
story.
no, you're good.
Okay, so this girl that I was dating, my only girlfriend that I've had in my life, I broke up with her because whenever she had an issue at work and she was having a problem, and so she went to her ex instead of me. And this had been building up for a while, so I was like, all right, I gotta end it. I can't, because I found out that she was living with him for 4 days.
Oh, dang.
Before I found out about it. So I was
She
like,
deserves an emo breakup then.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I was like, all right. So I sent her a text, and it was like real early in the morning, and I was like, hey, I need you to call me as soon as you get this. And it was like a couple hours later. Obviously, she wasn't awake yet, and I was like, I can't wait. So I just sat down and wrote it out. This really long email about how I'm like, we've been together for 2 years. I offered to help you find a place to live around here, blah blah blah, and all this stuff. And I was like, this was what I think was the piece de resistance of the email, of the message, if you will. I said, if what you did when you ran to him is what I can expect in this relationship, I don't want to be a part of it.
mic drop.
Yeah, so that was my
Mouse drop.
yeah
Because it
keyboard drop.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that was my breakup story.
Yeah.
With my relationship.
She
with her.
deserved it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Once you cheat, you lose the courteousness.
Hey man, sister.
for sure.
Agreed.
You just send her a poop emoji and be like, we're done. That's all she gets.
I know, right?
This
That'd be
is you.
so weird. Can you imagine just getting that message from somebody, just like you're dating them, and they're just like, "We're done," with a poop emoji. You're like,
I don't
We're
know
done
if it's
pooping?
serious or not.
right?
Why is there a poop
done.
emoji? Are we
L.
done poop? Wait,
Sounds like a middle school relationship.
what's going
Right.
on?
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Definitely.
So relationships.
Relationship.
Let's do it.
That was
We'll let
my.
them take this one because we're married.
Yeah.
We're gonna-
You're like, I ain't gonna tell about my relationships, well, even though you've already talked about several.
Yeah,
I think we can talk about-
I did a whole episode on relationships. So.
Right. Yeah, I don't. That was my only relationship that I've had, so I don't have
People
any
already
more
know about us,
stories.
so you guys can.
Yeah, you-
Y'all
I mean,
looking at
we can
me?
talk about
Just
previous
kidding.
ones.
You have only said yes pretty much this whole episode, so
Yeah, because they were saying everything that I was thinking, so I didn't need to say
I'm just trying to give you an
anything. No.
opportunity to like tell us a
I
story.
don't know. I can't think of anything.
It's
right
hard
now.
to ask
Yeah, it's-
somebody who's in a relationship to talk about a previous relationship.
I mean, it's not. I mean, I
know the stories.
I've told him everything on my previous relationship, so he knows everything. It's not a big deal. I'm just trying to think. Like,
Well,
what's
we
interesting? What's kind of interesting?
Got kicked out of the car. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh yeah. Okay, so
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay,
That's
so
a good intro.
so Disneyland.
Happiest place on earth.
Happiest place on earth.
Tell this
Um, I don't know. Okay, if you know, there's a ride called Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's a ride that goes, like literally you go up and then you go down and then you go up, all the way up and then down, just up and down.
Sounds like all the rides.
Wait, it used to be the Tower of Terror, wasn't
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm gonna start with this because this is what led me to not like that ride. You brought me when I was 7.
I think, yeah, you were 7. I
Seven?
So
forced
these
you on
two
the
are
ride.
sisters, by
Oh,
the
yeah.
way.
Yeah.
If
She's
we
my
haven't
sister.
clarified that.
If we don't look alike. okay?
Skylar sisters.
The Skylar sisters.
Me and him are sisters.
I
Beard
forced her on
sisters.
the ride. I think she was probably like 7 or 8.
Hear about that?
Yeah. And I was like, sure, because I was like, I don't know what this ride is. And I went on it with you because no one went on it with
Nobody,
us, huh?
no, I don't think anybody wanted to go, and I think that's why I made you.
Yeah, so I was like, sure, 7 or 8. And I went on it, and the whole time I was crying.
Crying so hard.
Crying. And I just.
You broke up with your sister?
It literally, like, scarred me. Like, I got off that ride saying, I will never ride this ride ever again.
Yeah.
Well, I was 7 or 8, whatever. I'm, how old am I? 20? I'm 19 years old now, and I'm in a relationship, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try this ride because I'm 19 years old, and I think I'll like it. Like, I'm all grown up now, and I went on it. I went on it, and like this was like the beginning of our relationship, so I was just like, I was really holding in like we weren't even official yet, but I was holding in my scaredness. Like I was literally like, after the ride, I was gonna throw up and I was gonna cry, but I was like, okay, after that, I was like, I'm sorry, but I can't ride this ride, and I told him my story with my sister, and he was like, this is my favorite ride.
Oh, no.
What? Like, no, this is my favorite ride. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not ever going on this ride again, just letting you know. And we have a pass to Disneyland, so we go like every month. And literally, the next time we went to Disneyland, he was like, okay, we're going on Guardians. And I was like, no, like I told you, I can't go on the ride. I physically, like, I feel like I'm gonna die. Like, no, I'm not going on the ride. And he was like, I'm like, literally, if you don't go on this ride, like, I'm gonna break up with you.
What?
And I was like,
Hey.
I literally was like,
He's got standards, okay?
I was like, my heart was beating. I was in line of Guardians. I was crying. I was like, I don't want to go on this ride. And like, I FaceTimed my friend, and I was crying to her. I was like, he's making me go on this ride. Like, I don't want to go. And like, I was crying to her. She was like, give him the phone, like, and like he was just like, she was mad. She's like, how dare him do this? And I was just like crying to her, and I literally, like, after the ride, I'm surprised I didn't break up with him after that, because I was literally crying the whole time.
Yeah, that'd have been a good time.
Yeah, literally, and I was just crying the whole time, and I was just like, and I literally, like, we separate ways, and like,
Awkward.
I was really like,
So did you not
Upset.
break up with him at that time, or did you do it later?
I did it later.
Like way
So,
later.
Like,
Yeah.
all right, Michael, let's just blow those earphones out.
Way later.
So,
But I mean, yeah, he knows everything. So,
so
it's like not.
So was it like months later?
Yeah.
Okay. So no. I'm not trying to like stir anything up.
No.
I
He
legit
knows everything. So.
Right. So this that brings up something like why people stay in relationships with people that they're not happy with. Well, that's what I was going to say.
Slow transition. Sometimes the
Change.
yeah, a lot of it
Change. Yeah.
because you can be in relationships with people that you don't really care for anymore, but like the transition sometimes of breaking up with somebody is like,
It's slow.
yeah, you have to think about it, and then time goes on, and then you're like, oh, but the magic's not there. You know, it's just like it's
I never had that problem.
But like,
It's
I always.
comfortable.
yeah, it's more of a comfort.
Yeah,
thing.
and that was the point that I was going to get at, was that it's like you're comfortable and you're like, this is what I know. I
Yeah.
don't want to try to go into something new and have to learn this person now. So I'd rather live with this person that I'm like, okay, not super happy with, but they're all right. Whereas I go with this other person who could possibly I could be happy with, but like I'll have to learn. It's all new.
in the beginning. Sorry, go ahead.
I think it also goes into you have to consider effort.
The investment.
Because how is that? I mean, if you apply that rule to everybody, how does that actually train you for marriage? So, I think it depends
And
on
that's
how
what dating is, kids.
Yes, it's training you for marriage if you didn't know. So if
Seriously.
you're sitting next to your significant other, but you can't see yourself ever marrying that person,
Yeah.
just
Break
break
up
up
right now.
Break
And
up
that's what the
right
problem. That was the problem with the
This
child.
instance.
Yeah.
Through email.
So.
I mean, it just depends. Like
You
if
could
that
like send him an email
happened,
sitting right next to him.
it's not it's not the fact that
Email
that
right away.
happened that was terrible. It's the fact that what happened after. The fact that he didn't like feel bad after seeing how you reacted and try to put effort and saying like, you know what, that was wrong. Like that didn't happen. So I don't know. I feel like people do messed up stuff all the time in relationships, but it's putting that effort into being selfless and trying to consider that other person.
Yeah,
Hey, real quick, can you lean over into your mic whenever you talk a little bit? Like next time?
Me?
Yeah, lean over. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is mentality because certain things sound good on the surface, but they don't really breed a mentality of two people trying to work together. Like this one might ruffle some feathers, but like I heard.
All right, get your chickens out, everybody.
Well, I heard a woman say that she's like, I'm a strong, independent woman, right? And to me, like,
Was
if
it Beyonce?
Yeah. Now, here's the thing, right? If you're a single mom or if you're single, that's great. If you're in a relationship, that's a first sign that you're dealing with somebody who's all about themselves. When you're in a relationship, and I'll explain, it'll make sense. When you're in a relationship, you're not an independent anything. You're a team. And like your goal as the guy or the girl or whoever the other person is in the relationship, on either side of it, whether you're batting or swinging, like if you're the one causing the problem or you're the one dealing with it. In the relationship, when you go through those seasons, your job is to be there for that person.
Right.
And that person, and if not, it's never going to work. The whole independence mindset sounds good, but it's garbage.
Yeah.
Like the reality is that I got to put everything on the line if you're worth it. If not, I need to be in a relationship. Like her and I, there's no independence. We're team. Well, do you not agree?
What? No, I'm a strong, independent woman. Oh my God. No, we're just kidding. No, I agree with you.
Yeah, because think about it. Like, if you're going to be in a team setting, like a relationship, like even in a friendship, if you take that aspect of it, you realize how ridiculous it would sound for me to be like, I'm an independent bro. Well, no, if I'm your bro, I'm your bro. I'm here for you, and you're here for me. And then when you work towards each other's needs, it's actually it brings forth the point of having a relationship is that because you're leaning on each other, and if you can't lean on each other, you need a new relationship,
Right.
But a lot of this modern mentality of empowering through victimhood or somebody being their own version of this or getting through things in that way, it's not, I don't see it being healthy,
Yeah.
So I wanted to face that up because that's a thing I hear a lot, and I think it sounds good, but it's garbage in a relationship,
Absolutely.
It's garbage.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
That was deep.
For the French listeners.
I'm glad you translated that.
Yeah.
That was just my thought. I thought I need to throw that in there because individual mindsets going into a relationship are a big factor. Like that guy was in for himself.
Yeah.
And how you made him feel. Just like somebody in an abusive relationship. They don't care for the person they're abusing. They care for how that person makes them feel. It's a false sense of love. False sense of connection. And that's what it was with that guy.
Yeah.
There was something that my dad told me, and it made a lot of sense. Whenever you're in a relationship with somebody, most people say you give 50%. Each person gives 50% to make 100%. And I'm like, that's not right. Or that's what my dad told me. He said, each person gives 100%. And then if at some point one of them can't give 100%, say they're giving 80%, you give 120% to make up for that so that there's still 200% in the middle. And then eventually they'll come back and get it back. But if you keep having to give 120, 150, 180%, you're going to get worn out. You're going to get torn down, or whatever that word is I'm looking for. But that's how it works. It's each of you gives 100%, not 50%. And then just to summarize, if somebody can't give all of their 100%, you make up for it for a while, and then they come back. And
I love
back to
that
balance.
because it's not really the numbers itself. It's more painting the picture of like when someone's at their less, you be more.
Right.
You be that. Yeah.
Right.
I like that.
You fill that little void that they can't at that time.
On the really real.
Yeah.
One of the things I've seen is there's two flowers or two trees or whatever. They're in a pot. So there's two pots, and then one of them has like an arm extended with like what's it called? It was like watering the other flower.
Yeah.
Or the other pot, and then same thing with the other pot. It had an arm extended and it was flowering. It was watering the other pot. So each one was watering each other, and that's what a relationship is. It's like I'm here to take care of you, and you're here to take care of me, and
That's a
then
really good
together
analogy.
we're gonna we're gonna get through it.
I like that.
I like
'cause
that.
two things that they need.
Yeah, and they're
No, no,
both
just-
helping each other grow.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But sometimes you try to hook up with the poison ivy plant, and it doesn't really bear good fruit.
So you
get
can learn
itchy.
something
You get
from
itchy.
Batman.
Seriously.
Make sure you're with the
Poison
right
ivy.
plant.
True.
Make
I
sure
agree
you're
with
with the
that.
right plant. All right,
Yeah.
you guys, we are at 50 and a half minutes. We're almost at an hour.
Oh, okay.
Anybody else got any other stories?
Yay.
Has anybody been a bully? You said you look like you were about to say something.
Yeah.
You've been a bully?
Well, okay, yeah. So when I was in high school, I was a cheerleader. And
Ready? Okay.
okay. I think that we all bullied each other, but this is how bad it got. There was a
Like all the cheerleaders bullied each other?
yeah, like it was like varsity versus JV. And it all started when one of my friends, well, this guy was cheating on his girlfriend who was a varsity cheerleader with one of my friends. And that's how it all kicked off. But it got so bad to the point where we were like, well, my friend got her car keyed. I was getting my house egged every weekend.
I remember.
Hey, that's free eggs, bro.
I remember.
No, it's not just my house. We had a swimming pool. And we kept getting eggs thrown in there. And my dad is like, okay, you realize we have to drain the pool every time an egg gets thrown in there. So we were draining the pool. And it was an in-ground pool, so it's huge. That is expensive to keep
hundreds of
filling.
gallons.
So my dad put like cameras in the front. He would sit like at the front of in our driveway and just wait. But in turn, we did equally horrible things. Like we would go out and like TP and egg and shaving cream, and it's so bad. Their thing went to court. Like they even had like an order of protection between my friend and then that other
Oh,
girl.
wow.
It just
Over
got
a guy.
so bad. And yeah, and I don't want to say that I was just like it was a mutual thing.
Right.
Like, we all just bullied each other. But it was exhausting, and we were just so mean to each other. And now that I'm just like, it's like that movie Mean Girls, like that happens in real life. I've seen it. But it just maybe not as extreme, but it happens.
It's crazy
now-
to think
Yeah.
that happened back then because
Yeah.
when I was in high school, like none of that was happening.
Well, you had a different like high school experience because you did show choir.
yeah,
It was a different like everyone was like
I was a goody two
Not as
shoe
cutthroat.
too.
It's like Glee. No, I mean, never mind. So yeah, Glee was pretty cutthroat.
I mean, there were still bullies, but not as bad. Like egging a house.
Cheerleaders are sassy. I remember when even baseball players, we had I think it was the window like shattered or something. Someone threw a baseball through the second story of I think it was my bedroom window, but it went through the netting and everything, and that's how we knew. We're like, oh my gosh, it's somebody on the baseball team, because it was just too good of a hit.
Yeah, it reached
better
my
designed it.
window,
And then my
second floor window, and I was in my room, and I just,
you
I was scared.
Okay, so
I remember that.
That same night, one of my friends, she calls me. She goes, "Oh my gosh, did something happen to your house?" I'm like, "Yeah, why?" And she's like, "I think I know who it is because there's a dead rabbit that hit my window." That same,
Who'd grab
the
a
same
dead rabbit?
Kids are
baseball
messed up,
players,
man. It's
the
like
same,
children in the corn like growing up.
the same baseball players took a rabbit, and I'll tell you who it is after this. I don't want to name names on the podcast. Took a rabbit, killed it, and skinned
my
it
gosh.
and threw it,
Skinned it, too.
out the window.
Is he in prison now for serial killing? Because that's usually how it starts.
No,
Right.
he's actually
Yes.
an engineer that went to an Ivy League college who is now making pretty good money.
Bang.
Wow.
So do you feel like you missed out?
No, I think I was just really horrible. If you know me and you're watching this and you knew me in high school, I apologize.
Yeah, seriously.
who I
That's not
was
enough,
in
Sydney. You need to go to them and
She is
apologize
a way
individually.
different person now.
Yeah,
it's
it's
crazy to think.
I mean, I was
Like,
terrible.
I never thought that she could be a mother. Like, that's how crazy she was. Like,
Yeah.
It's crazy how life changes.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
yeah.
such little time, or it seems like a little time actually.
Yeah, but it's really not.
Yeah.
When
It's
you go to
years
high
and
school
years.
reunions,
Yeah.
you'll see that like people like there's a few people that are exactly the same,
Yeah.
but but I think the majority of them are like completely different. You know?
Yeah, I was not about to go to my high school reunion.
Yeah. I don't want to go
Oh,
there
really?
and get egged.
I didn't go to mine because I got picked on, so I was like, I don't want to go hang out with these people. Plus, like anybody that I cared about, I was already friends with on Facebook, so it didn't matter.
I don't
Like
think
I
I had
knew what they
mine
were
yet.
doing.
I remember in high school,
Yeah, you're not old enough yet.
I know.
there were a couple bullies. Like I played football, and I was a smaller football player. The guys that would pick on me were either linemen or a tight end who was like 6'2", 6'3", and like these guys were huge. Like it got to the point where, because I knew how to defend myself verbally, like they would chase me like through school. Like I would literally like run through school, and I was just too fast for them, of course.
Were you a running back?
I was actually a wide receiver.
Oh, okay.
So you
Wide receiver bully.
Good one.
what you would do in school with where you're like mouthing off to them while they're chasing you, like that reminds me of a character that I created where he's this little kid and he's getting stuffed in his locker and he's still like hurling insults at the bullies that are like putting him in there. I just think that's like an awesome like.
Yeah, no, they
little
wouldn't
thing.
catch me.
No, it's just so funny that like you're getting, they're like they've got you and you're getting beat up or chased or whatever, and you're still like hurling insults at them. It cracks me up.
I think that's kind of funny though too, because like you have like the whole concept of like imagine like knowing they say something, trying to like bully, intimidate you, and like holding your tongue because you know like you're about to burn them hardcore, and then you can't help it because it's just so witty, and it just comes out you're like no. I guess you do that every time, like. Oh.
Yeah, so
Right.
they're like stuffing you in the locker, and you're like, your mother wears combat boots.
It was bad at my high school though. Like they would like, I think they call it trash can.
Yeah.
Like the freshmen, like they would seriously like, get like any little person possible and just like stuff them in the trash cans and everything.
That's so like
Yeah.
that's so TV tropey. Like
Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I can see him get shoved in. This is not original. They should be.
We had and when we were in high school, we had our rival high school come to our school and spray paint all of the lockers and
Well-
just tag up the entire school.
well, that's just straight up vandalism.
Yeah. Well, we tipped a cow on their lawn. It wasn't me personally.
You guys
but,
go to
like,
school.
What?
in San
I
Diego.
heard
That never happened when I was.
They're like-
we went to the same high school. That never happened when I was.
We
The
were,
Academy of Satan or something like this.
and then like I remember they got like a new field, and we carved our school initials in their brand new football field, like tore up the turf.
Vandalism, dude. That's
Our
thousands and
mascot,
thousands
our
of
mascot's
dollars.
just a murdered body. Like, school's still so messed up.
And then I think this
Welcome
was
to the city.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the city. And then I think this was a senior prank, but they put
Yeah.
like glue, like super glue in all the locks of
locks,
the
yeah.
classrooms, and nobody could open the classroom doors, so we couldn't have class. And the ones that they did get open, like people, they canceled.
Well, they did you a favor.
They did, but here's what happened. The school ended up canceling our one of our dances, and so our entire school rioted, didn't go to class. Cops were everywhere, and there was someone in like the main, like the blacktop area, like standing on tables with like Bibles, like chanting like "Give us back!" Like I don't like crazy stuff. People
Did you
were
go to
breaking
school
windows.
in a TV show?
It sounds like something out of a TV show.
does.
But
Yeah.
they broke windows and everything. Like it was all over the
Okay,
news.
now we're getting into movie territory.
It
'Cause
was-
you can't really do that. on
Dirty
network.
dancing.
No, you can. You should look it up. I'll tell you my high school name and everything.
I would laugh if she just recite the whole plot to Dirty Dancing. Like,
Like I did
No.
with
we
the,
want to have the dance.
No, the first
And then-
time I watched it was
Before
with
the-
you, remember?
Yeah.
So I can't recite lines because I've only seen it once, and that was a few nights ago. So.
Well, this is much more intense than Dirty Dancing because this is like those kids just were like, we want to do this, you know, and have smaller guns. Yours is like straight up freaking like.
Rioting, yeah. And then people like rode motorcycles, like dirt bikes through class, like through the halls during class. I think that was like another.
Stole
senior prank.
TVs and.
yeah,
looted
I
them.
think you've been watching too much TV because that sounds so much like just what would happen on a TV show.
That happened.
That's crazy.
I
That's
don't
ridiculous.
I think my senior prank was really lame. I don't even remember it, but I know that they were talking about having dogs, like just letting go of dogs and
like mass amounts of dogs. Like, we're just
in like
That's
the
creative.
campus, and I was just like, yeah.
I wasn't
it
cool
was weird.
enough to even know that there was a senior prank happening.
Did you have senior ditch day?
I don't know.
I ditched that day.
You did.
I did. That
All
was
the
the only
senior-
time I ditched, guys. I don't ever ditch school.
I hung out with
I-
like the nerdy kids and like we made movies and like played Dungeons and Dragons.
I had senior ditch day of the week. It was kind of a regular thing.
I will tell you this though, I missed. This is taking it back to bullying a little bit. Well, I guess we were just talking about bullying, but anyway. So I missed 29 days my 7th grade year of school, and it was because I was constantly getting bullied every single day. And my dad, since my mom was in the hospital, my dad had to go to work, before we would get up to go to school. So he would leave for work, and my alarm would go off, and I would wake up, and my dad would be gone, and I'm like, I'm going to stay in bed because I don't want to go to school. So I'd lay there in bed and then wake up several hours later, and I'd be like, oh no, I missed the bus.
So there it goes.
So sad.
I'd miss school, and then my dad would call the house. He always called the house every morning to make sure we had left. So he'd call the house, and I would answer the phone, and he's like, what are you still doing home? And I'm like, I missed the bus again. And he's like, do I need to quit my job and stay home to make sure you get on the school bus? And I'm like, no.
Call it bluff. Might have to.
Right. Well, it happened so much that I failed 7th grade.
Damn.
Because I missed 29 days because I just didn't want to go to school.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's like, I mean, that's how bad it was. It was constant. Like I was telling him before on one of the other podcasts that there were times when like I was sitting in a computer class, and people, it was like they didn't want to touch me. It was like a game for them to play to push people into me. So I was sitting at a computer class one time, and these 2 girls walked behind me, and one of them shoved the other one into me, and she put her hands on my back to stop, and then went away. And then I found out later that whole entire class that there was a sign on my back.
That is so mean.
Yeah, dude, it was real bad.
Dang, mean girls.
I didn't do that to people. I was mean to other mean girls.
Okay, yeah, it's like a balance.
So that's like-
keep each other distracted so that
That's more like
the poor little Robbie's can
defending
get away.
yourself. I don't know.
Well, there was one time I was walking between classes, and one of the other kids in the class, we were walking past each other, and he stopped and he looked at me and he goes, "God, you're fat," and then just like kept on walking, and I was like, okay. But I've been getting it so much my whole entire life that it didn't faze me. I was just like, okay. I just assumed that that's how people were.
That makes me angry. I want to go beat up some little kids right now. Well, they're men now. So I can totally it's not that weird.
So here's a little bit of information about that guy.
Go ahead, send me tag him right here.
No, you're gonna feel real bad about that. He died in a car accident. And the car caught on fire.
Ooh.
I'm not saying anything.
But on the other side, he caused it because he had been drinking. So
Oh, that's even more sad though.
I don't want to get too down on this. I don't know if I might probably cut this out, but he was drinking and he was with 2 other people, and they were driving, and they crashed into somebody on the back roads and killed them, and then their car caught on fire and they couldn't get out.
Dang,
Horrible.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
See, those back roads are really scary though, because there's pitch black. You can't hardly see. Sometimes I have trouble driving at night in the back roads.
Well, you can't see
they're not
anyway because
lit.
you don't dip your contacts in coffee. So
Right, I know. And I have stigmatism, so it's just like lines. I'm like, whoa, light show.
I have that too, but it's not super bad. I've always wondered if that was just me or if that's how everybody sees.
No, once
Yeah.
I saw that like comparison, I was like, that's me.
Well, I saw one today, and mine's not that bad. Mine is like I see streaks in the lights, but it's not like a lot of them. Like it'll go like from the light down, like about a good portion of through my vision, but there's not like stars coming off everywhere.
Okay, so this is going to sound horrible, but like, you know how people like driving in the snow at night because it's kind of like you're in space? Well, like since I have astigmatism, it's kind of like not only are you in space, but you're like going at light speed.
Oh, you're in hyperspeed.
You're like in hyperspeed because it's like streaks.
Oh, like Space Mountain.
Yeah.
Oh.
I love that ride.
Yeah, I love Space Mountain, but yeah, that's what it looks like.
That's pretty cool.
I probably shouldn't be driving at night. I'm not going to drive.
No,
He's going to drive home. It's horrible that I'm announcing all this.
I feel like I
can't drive
definitely
at
am from now on.
After you reveal that.
Yeah.
Before-
Going hyperspeed. No, you're not.
Before
Into the
you
dream.
even mentioned the stigmatism. Yeah, that word. I always thought that like I just needed better like contacts. But now that you mentioned that, I was like, wow, it's not just me. It's like my
They have
astigmatism.
like stigmatism contacts like specifically for that, but apparently I only have it in one eye, and I have them. I just don't feel like they work at night.
Oh,
Like
I don't think
I
mine
still
is
see
too bad
streaks.
though. So
yeah.
I have good vision.
Thanks for that little tidbit.
Right?
Everybody's talking
I have
about
good
my
vision.
vision sucks.
I know.
Mine sucks. It's like, ah, mine's good.
I'm
Like,
like
okay.
superhuman with my vision.
Oh, that's great.
That's cool.
Yeah, but I can't really hear.
What?
Whoa.
Like I seriously like, I need people to repeat it, where it's like, it gets annoying.
Dude, you're like my long lost little clone brother. Okay, so I'm the same way. Horrible hearing, great vision. Okay, so we had discussed a couple like yesterday or something like that. I don't know. The days ran together, but we're gonna be beard brothers.
Yeah, you said that earlier, and I was like, I don't know what that means because like
Because
you
I
don't
wanna
really
grow
have a
my-
beard.
Yeah, right?
He was wanting to grow one out, but
I was
because
lost, man.
me and this guy's getting pretty close, you know, and like I was feeling for him because he tried to grow his beard out, said it didn't grow out the way he wanted it to, so shaved it. And I was like, you know
Patchy.
what? I'm gonna grow my hair out for the locks of love thing. I'm gonna give it. That's why I'm growing it all crazy. And then I was like, I can do the same thing with my beard. Grow it down real long because you see my beard gets crazy, and then cut half of it off and donate it to him, and we can be beard
And
brothers.
have beard extension. He would have a beard extension of different.
It'd just be like these chicks do it. But
How
it's
would
just
you do it?
Would it be like ombre? Because like, yours is like brown.
Maybe you like dye it or
it'll wear a
something. I
calico
don't
hat,
know.
that's all.
Here's my 10 cents for that. That's freaking gross.
And I would not accept that.
That's because you're not beard
That's
bros.
my brother-in-law's
Just wait. Just wait.
hair.
It might look good.
Ew.
You're like, just wait till you see what it looks like.
But not only are we
Just
like
give it a shot.
sensory bros, but we could be beard bros. It'd be like,
Okay, you took that to a weird level, dude.
Right.
It's all right. I appreciate it.
thank
All right.
you.
All right. So we're gonna end this podcast on a high note because we have gone long enough talking about all the stuff. Unless anybody's got anything else they want to say,
Nope.
Nope.
I'll take that as a no. Okay. So you guys go check us out on all the stuff that I usually mention. If you don't know what it is, go watch one of the other podcasts and you'll see. Also, like this video, subscribe, all that kind of stuff that we people on YouTube have to say. If you're listening to this and you're not watching it on YouTube, why don't you head on over to YouTube and watch it, but watch it again and watch the whole thing. All right, so I think that's it. Don't bully people, be a nice person, and subscribe.
Amen.
Bye.
Did you say amen?
Here's Audri's little monster. Like almost like Jack Skellington. Oh, you gotta get that light, bro.